Hey everybody, it's Nicole coming at you with a DIY. Today's DIY is going to be a recycle, upcycle of some candles. I bought these candles a couple years ago for my fall decorating, and when I put them up, I stored them wrong. I shouldn't have put them, obviously, in a hot attic. They were in my fall decor containers and things like that, and so they ended up getting all wonky and melted. So I just could not bear to throw them away because they smell nice, and then, you know, I purchased them. They weren't super expensive because I used a coupon, but they're really nice candles. So what we're gonna do is remelt these and put them in some recycled Bath and Body Works candle jars. So if you want to see how I do this, just stay tuned. Okay guys, the first thing you want to do is remove all the labels and the plastic off of your candles if there was some on them. Mine was still wrapped and everything, so yeah, and that's super easy to do. And if they have like little embellishments like this or whatever, you can recycle these and use them to decorate, you know, the containers that you're gonna pour them in once they're melted. So I'm just gonna put those to the side, but make sure you get all the labels off the bottom and everything. And if your candle still has its wick in it, leave it in there, because once it melts down, you can actually take the wick out, put it in the container that you're gonna use, and just recycle it as well. And if not, like this one, the little metal part that goes in the bottom of the wick is missing. I think the wick is still in the candle, but if you don't have a wick, I'll show you how to create one so that you can, you know, still have your candle. So let's move on to what we're gonna need, or what, you know, you may have at home that you can use to upcycle these candles. So stay tuned. Okay guys, these are the jars that I'm going to be recycling. Of course, you know, you're familiar with these. These are just the Bath and Body Works candle jars that you can clean out and recycle, like I said, to reuse for whatever purpose, but we're just going to make some more candles. I have these loaf pans, these aluminum loaf pans that you can get 3 for $1 at the Dollar Tree. I've got just some old kitchen utensils, some old tongs, and like a plastic knife or whatever, just to kind of help me sort of navigate the pot, so to speak, melting the candle. And I'm using aluminum because it's disposable, for one thing, or these pans, and then they fit down into a pot, which I'm going to show you in a second, that I have a water bath in. And you can just toss these away once you're done, but they cool down easily, so it's a safety thing, in my opinion, because aluminum, you know, it transfers heat well, but then once you remove it from the heat or whatever, it cools down quickly. So I kind of like that as well. So anywho, okay, so we have our jars and all that stuff. Just make sure they're nice and clean or whatever, and let's move on. Y'all, so here I am. I have my aluminum pan inside of a water bath in a pan or a pot that's big enough to accommodate these loaf pans, because you never want to directly put your wax candle in a pot on top of, you know, whatever heating element, because it will ignite and catch fire. So you want to create a water bath. They also make candle melting containers, and I have one. I just couldn't find it, so I just made do with what I had. So you don't have to go out and buy any special equipment. Just, you know, follow these steps or whatever. So again, this is a Dollar Tree loaf pan that you can get 3 for $1, and I just placed the candle whole. I didn't cut it up or anything inside this loaf pan, and I set it inside a water bath of simmering water in a pot that's big enough to accommodate this pan, and melted it down. So now what we're gonna do is retrieve the wick out of the wax, and I'm just using some Dollar Tree tongs, and I'm just gonna grab it and pull it out. And I'm hoping you guys can see this. Okay, so there is my wick. So you're just gonna recycle it. All you're gonna do is just put it inside of the Bath and Body Works container that you're going to be using, or whatever candle jar that you may have. You could have one of those taller ones like you get from Michael's. But anyway, you're just going to place it inside like that and let it sit for a second. And then if you want to, let's see, you can take a skewer like this and wrap your wick around. And I'm sorry I'm out of frame because I'm at my stove. But you can kind of wrap your wick around, and I'm gonna show you in a second. There we go. Around like a skewer or a toothpick to keep it level or straight. And obviously this one's a little long for this container, but we can clip that later on in the process, you know, to make it the right height. But you just want to center it in the bottom of your container like that, and use the skewer to kind of keep it above ground, so to speak, above the level of the wax. And then the next thing we're going to do is just pour in the wax. So be very careful doing this process. I actually have a paper plate that I'm going to set my candle jar in, and what I'm going to do is move over to my work surface so you can see this better. But I did want you to see how I fished out the wick and what the candle wax looks like once it's melted. And at this step, if you want to add some more candle scents like essential oils or you know, candle scents, you can. So it smells really nice now, but I really want it more intense. Whoops, and I dropped one. So what I'm gonna add is this sweet orange scent, and it's gonna just enhance the already fragrant scent that it has. It has a really nice fall scent. So, oh gosh, that smells so good. So I'm gonna drop a couple of drops in here. Oops, I don't know if you could see it, but anyway, and just kind of mix that around. And then I just had my fork. I swear I'm losing everything. I'm just gonna mix that around with the plastic knife there. Okay, so now we're gonna move over to the work surface and pour these up. So, okay, so now I'm just pouring in the wax, almost to the top, probably leaving about 1/4 of an inch space between the top. And then here, the extra wax, if you don't have enough to fill a container, or you have some left over, should I say, you can pour it into these ice trays. I have these little pumpkin ice trays that I got from Dollar Tree, and they're silicone, so the wax won't stick or anything like that. And you can package these up, put them in a cute cellophane container with a ribbon, and give them as gifts, and use them as wax melts for your wax burners. Also, I'm going to show you another method that'll be really cute and nice to give as gifts as well. I'm just being careful to slide that over so I wouldn't spill anything. But you can use mini muffin tins lined with muffin cups or the little muffin paper like I have here, and do the same thing. You just fill it up and let those harden, and you can package those up in some cute little cellophane bags with a ribbon and maybe a tag or something as a gift. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to create a wick. You can buy candle wicking from any, you know, craft store. I just have this big roll of, you know, candle wick. I got this, I want to say from a thrift store a while ago. Booth was closing and she sold a lot of candles, and so she was getting rid of her supplies. But you can find these at Michael's or any craft store. Hobby Lobby has it as well. I'm just measuring the length that I want based on the size of the container, and so I'm going to cut this off. And then what I'm going to do now is create the metal bottom that'll support it. And I'm just taking some aluminum foil, and I'm just going to cut a strip off. And this is probably maybe 2.5 inches or so. And I'm just folding it over to give it a little weight. And then now I'm gonna cut a little bit of a slit in it so that I can insert the wick in the middle. As you can see, there's a little hole. And then I'm gonna take the wick and stick it through. And then I'm gonna fold over the foil and make it flat to where the bottom of the wick is encased between the foil, if that makes sense. Mimicking, you know, a store-bought wick or whatever. And then you just kind of press it together like so, and then there you go. All ready to go. Super easy to do. And now I'm gonna take that wick and immerse it in the candle wax. You want to always, always, always dip your wick or wicking in the candle wax because it burns slower. It'll burn too fast if it's not soaked in the wax, and you'll ruin your candle. So always soak them in the candle wax. And I mean literally soak it. I'm just doing this for, you know, YouTube purposes. But once you soak it, I'd say soak it for a good hour or so. I'm just placing it in the bottom of the container now. And I used a bit of the wax to secure it so it wouldn't move at the bottom. Poured a little bit of wax in. And now I'm gonna keep it level and straight with a skewer. You could use a pencil or a dowel or whatever you have that'll stretch across the opening of the container. And I'm just securing it with a clip. And there you go. So here's the finished product. Hope you liked it. I got 5 candles out of all of those that I remelted. So see you in the next video.